The next article that we will be discussing in this thing in my presentation to continue with my presentation on the safe and ethical use of technology is Stephanie L. Moore's article on social responsibility of a profession and analysis of faculty perception and social responsibility factors and integration into graduate programs and educational technology performance. In this article, she discusses the question of what makes a good practice for the ethical and safe use of instructional technology. She talks about the early theories towards development of the instructional technology in terms of its impact on college curricula, and how it enhances graduate student performance. She says that it enhances student performance because, number one, graduate students can enhance their research, learn to student collaborate, and learn a diversity of ideas through college curricula, and the teachers can also use these standards as good practice to make course content more challenging or more flexible for students who work outside of the classroom or from home. They can also use instructional technology to constitute and create environments of creativity. The next issue of the next issue that is related to the safe and ethical use of instructional tech is government and human resources. And an article that discusses that is a Human Resources Information Systems course, an examination of instructional methods by James W. Howell. And this article was written in 2005. It discusses or talks about how human resources instructors use instructional technology such as computers, websites, blogs to encourage their students on how to use and protect confidential information when it comes to clientele or any private governmental organization information that a person may access on the web or the internet. Another issue that he discusses is the ethics behind using computers in the workplace for human resource officers. In this article, he argues that human resource officers must be very careful about who they transmit their information to, which governmental organizations they give their information to, because if their information gets leaked out, in an unsafe way, then someone could come back and hold them liable or responsible for injuring someone else or putting someone else's information at risk. Another thing that um, this article discusses is the issue of confidentiality and teaching uh, clients how to gain their personal identification numbers and personal information off the internet. Uh, the author argues that it is the first responsibility of the human resource workers to make sure that the client, they themselves, understand the importance of keeping their information safe, keeping their personal identification numbers and passwords private so that no one else could get access to them. Another main issue that has to do with liability is the safe internet use for children. This issue is reiterated by author Nancy Willard, the author of Safe and Responsible Uses of the Internet, a Guide for Educators. In this article, in this book, she discusses how educators should and can monitor children's usage of the internet while they're at school and teaching them how to be good digital citizens. One of the ways that she suggests that teachers monitor their student use is by limiting the number of times that the student can get on the internet during school hours and using the school's servers and networks. That way it will ensure that the students can only get to resources and information that they need. One of the ways that Willard suggests that you can protect children from unsafe material on the internet is by having parental control, monitoring what they do in the chat rooms, watching their every move. Children can get into unsafe chat rooms easily without knowing. And if that happens, a teacher can be held liable for child endangerment, and also it can cause the school to lose its accreditation. So Nancy Willard says that when using the internet, it is very important to keep children safe, just because they're young, they're impressionable, and they don't, it's hard for them to tell who's good and who's bad. So teach the children about how to use the internet and where and when to use it. And for our last issue, we have the issue of cultural diversity again. We talk about cultural diversity in the article by John Zane, Cultural Diversity in Instructional Technology. And in this article, he discusses how schools and colleges in Asia are using instructional technology to communicate and converse with students all around the world. He says that you must consider cultural customs when using the internet, and you must consider the state and school standards. This ends my presentation, and I thank you very much.